Hello everyone and welcome to this week's game development log video diary, and this week I am back. I've finished my final university exams and my dissertation, so I can now finally get back to working on the more important things in life, such as rewriting the rendering engine for my game. And that's what I've been working on this week. It's not yet fully connected up with the game though, so this video will be more of a demonstration of the engine. And I'll start things off by showing you the lighting improvements. So if we take a quick look back at how the lighting was before, you can see that the lighting wasn't the highest of qualities, especially on shiny materials like the player's helmet here. But in the new engine you can see that the lighting is much smoother, and that's because I'm now using per pixel lighting instead of per vertex. I've also improved the way multiple light sources work in the new engine, and the use of these was really limited in the old engine, and each object could only be lit by just one extra light source, so I couldn't put light sources too close together. But I've changed that now, and you can see that the tree and the bunny here are being lit up nicely by all three of these colourful lamps. I also worked on a new level of detail system this week, and I can demonstrate the new mesh simplification algorithm here on the Stanford Dragon model. So as the camera moves further away from the model, it would be simplified like this, and you can see that even when the model is simplified to less than 1% of its triangles, it still holds the shape of the dragon fairly well. And if this was rendered far enough in the distance, you'd hardly be able to tell the difference between the original and the simplified version. As well as that, I implemented the Opengl Mipmapping function, and I've exaggerated the effect here so that you can see what's going on. So textures are only rendered in high definition when you get close enough to them, which increases performance by quite a bit, and it also helps to stop textures flickering off in the distance. The terrain also now has a much improved level of detail system, and that's because I've implemented the Geo Mipmapping algorithm, which simplifies parts of the terrain depending on how far away they are from the camera, which you can see here. And if I turn off the algorithm, you can see just how many triangles the algorithm actually removes from the terrain, and I'm sure you can imagine just how much slower it would be to render the terrain if I didn't use this algorithm. On the topic of terrains, they are now 64 times larger than they were before, which makes it very easy for me to make some massive terrain formations like this, and it also means that I can use larger blend maps to indicate where textures should be rendered on the terrain, so it's much easier for me to paint these sprawling pathways across huge sections of the map. And finally, a couple of little texture changes. I've allowed for texture atlas support for animated models, so these rabbits can now all have individual colours and yet still all use the same texture file. And as you may have noticed before, parts of textures can now be set to glow the whole time, like the windows of these houses here, giving them a more lived-in look. And that is it for this week. Next time I'm going to be joining up the new engine with my game, and also adding a couple of new features as well. I'm actually off on holiday for a couple of weeks now, so that video will probably be up in 2 weeks time, but after that I should finally be back to uploading pretty much weekly again. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Sorry that it's been such a long time coming. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have an awesome week, and I will see you all next time.